Hello everyone, my name is Sebastian Graham and I'm just going to show you how to actually use and navigate through the Mills of Northern Ireland website. So this website was created about 6-7 years ago, and to be honest, the main website itself, it has a lot of stuff I put on maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but I haven't really kept it up to date. However, the main use of the website is the actual map. So if you scroll down in the main homepage, millsofnorthernireland.com, and if you scroll down midway, you'll find the map. So it's a bit clustered and a bit random and all over the place. There's a lot of information there, and it's just kind of like any other map that's online. I mean, you have all the SEAM things you can, zoom in on the bottom left there and zoom out. I'll show you how to use it on the website. First of all, there is another way in which you can go on, make it larger and take over the full screen, which I'll show you in a minute. So when we, just go into whatever area you're from or you want to know more about, and then, you start to kind of see the picture a wee bit better. So this runs off Google My Maps, and I use Google My Maps because it's very basic, it's simple, and more importantly for the website, it's free. So you can add several thousand dots or markers here, add it onto this, and as a result of that, then you can embed it on your website, which I've done here. So that's this square that's kind of embedded on the website. So then if you just go to a site, so I'll click on this one here, for example. What actually happens when you open this, when you click on it, it gives you a name, which is the Corn and Flax Mill. The description here is the townland. It's generally the townland, first of all, it's Shankie. The actual data is depends when it was done, actually, to be honest. How I actually did it at the start was I was just using Ordnance Survey maps, and as a result of that, I was just putting down when it was on the first one, on the first Ordnance Survey map, the second or third, or Griffith or whatever. So on this one here, you can see Corn Mill also on this site, 1854. So yeah, that was from that era, that mill, but more than likely it went way before that, because most of the sources, the online sources that I would use, date to mid 1800s, 1830s onwards, and they stop around 1930s roughly, when that's what the main thing I've actually used is evaluation revision books online on the Public Records Office website. So scrolling down, we can see that there was a William Stewart, who was the not exactly miller. Sometimes he was just holding on to the premises, living there, a tenant, and he was renting it from James K. Bailey. And the description is a house, office, flax mill, land, area, land value, building value, and a total value altogether. So this is exactly how that would have looked on the 1860 Public Records Office valuation revision books. So I just went through every single revision book. So if I just go on here, and if I make a new tab and I go to Pronate, and I go to the evaluation revision books, so literally everything, all the mills I've got in this database will have some information on it regarding from the valuation revision books. So I typed in Shankie. This is the one I want, 1860 to 1863, and I click on it. Can be a bit of a guesswork to find where exactly these all, oh, there we go, all are. So that's Shankie, and further down, it's not on this page, so just go to the next page. It's not that one. Go back and I go back again. Yeah, so there it is. So we have William Stewart, James K. Bailey, Flaxmill, and then a valuation of £11 for the building. So if you compare that to the actual website, yeah, that's the exact same thing we've got here. Sometimes the spelling sometimes changes, as you can see here, Stewart, and it becomes Stewart. It just depends what way they wrote it down at the time. This can be a wee bit frustrating when you use the search function. So this information is the exact same information, or as close as it can be, because I know I have made a number of mistakes in the past. It is as close as it is to the valuation revision books. And that goes from, valuation A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the whole way, kind of to get its history. So if you're kind of reading these, there's no date beside this one, for example, so you can kind of take it for granted this is like 1860. The one below that has a date of 1868. The one after that doesn't have a date again. So generally, if it's kind of like A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever, regarding the actual valuation revision book, it's kind of like in order. So I haven't really missed any of them out, but it's, just something to be mindful of. It's more than likely the same information. Like you can see here, that doesn't change at all. It doesn't change one bit actually. So we kind of have to look into that. The last valuation generally has a kind of a date associated with it. They have put it in, included the information on the side. So anything that says NB is kind of like a note that the evaluators put on afterwards. So you can say scored out or in ruins or, blah, 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 whatever. So that's kind of how the website works. It's kind of the same for every other site across, and you have, other sites. This one's a wee bit different. This is a Cornwall. I haven't actually mentioned a townland here. That's because I'm not entirely sure where it was located. Possibly it gives a description here from the Civil Survey of 1650. But, it just depends on the area. As I got more confident and more kind of better at analysing the data, I included more information. So I started off in County Tyrone, where I didn't really use that much information, just the valuation revision books. Didn't really include dates and things like that there. But for the likes of County Down, there is a bit more information regarding dates. So like this one, for example, in County Down, 1873, I put a date in there, more information, another date, another date, another date. So that just means it's easier to kind of pull a history together of a place instead of going to the, obviously you would, if you wanted to do your own research, you would use the original information on the Public Records Office. But, having it there, it's kind of a clue, kind of a pathfinding, job to get what the information that you're after. So at the minute, I have finished all of Northern Ireland, and I've finished actually Ulster as well. Now for Donegal, Monaghan, Cavan, it's a wee bit different because I haven't got access to the valuation revision books for the Republic of Ireland because they're not digitised yet. So what I've been using instead is Ordnance Survey maps and also the Griffith valuation kind of descriptions. So I've included here, whether it's listed in what map it's listed in, with 6-inch map or 25-inch map, which is later. Then you have a reference, so 1N, so that if you look on the Griffith valuation, you would look onto the townland of Meanmore, you would look at 1N, and then you would see your corn mill that was owned by Marquess of Cunningham in fee, and in a description of the property and a total valuation. That's exactly how it is the whole time. It's the same. It's a kind of a very small snapshot in history. I mean, mid 1800s for Cavan, Donegal, and Monaghan. But at the same time, it lets you build up a lot of information very, very quickly. And then the time when they do digitize that information, I'll be half ready and half the job will be done because I've already got the sites, located, first of all. So that's what I'm planning to do in the future. And if you kind of watch the space, hopefully we'll do the rest of Ireland. It'll take a very long time, and I will not be able to do it myself because there's tens of thousands of them, no doubt. But yeah, I'm hoping to kind of, if anyone's willing to do it, dish out some work and kind of come up with a wee quick video that you can use and just show you what I do, because it is very simple and it's not massively scientific or really a huge historical bit of research, but it's very quick history. You can get the prime information, put it on a map, and from that point onwards, you can build up information very quickly. So it's good for local historians, but also, industrial historians who want to kind of build up a picture of all these different sites across the country. So with that, I'll just stop there. So as I said earlier on at the start, there is different ways to view the information on the map. And yeah, the website isn't great at looking at information quite quickly because you have to do a lot of clicking in and you don't actually have a search function here. But if you click on the View Larger Map, which is on the top right, you will get that information a bit more laid out, a wee bit better. I'll actually show you how I've laid out the different, county by county basis. So what's going to happen, that will load just like it'll be like a Google My Maps. So just like this here. Again, you have all that information. That looks a wee bit scary, first of all, when it loads up. But you can actually, get rid of different counties just by clicking that, and then they just disappear from the map. And then if you were only, say, looking for County Down, you could do that. I mean, you could just keep that on and zoom in, but more often than not, it's just handy enough to actually keep these other ones on. It doesn't really make a difference. So I'm just going to show you the search function here on it. Beside the title, Mills of Northern Ireland, you have a search button. So if I press on that, you can just search absolutely anything. Obviously, do not search flax or corn because you'll get tens of thousands of results. The best thing to do is, if you know what townland you're from, type that in. So if I look for the townland of Tullywiggan, for example, and if you can see here, I've got 3 results coming up. They're all in Tyrone. So if I wanted to show all of them on a map, you can click on that. That gives you their location. So you can see here 1, 2, 3. If you wanted to click on any of these individually, you can just click on it there. That zooms in, and then it tells you again that same information that we have. So Tullywiggan, owner Sarah Beatty, the landlord Charles King Colquhoun. Actually, I need to change that. See, that's the problem with the information. I mean, it may look like Cool House to me, but in later years it was Colquhoun. Again, just the writing is sometimes almost indecipherable. It's very, very bad in some cases. And then the land value, building value, etc., etc. The other mills are, here as well. So you have, same information, different mill, all there. So see nearby mill, and then the other one here. And yeah, sometimes I've included pictures, sometimes I haven't. I just at the time I thought it was pretty easy enough to keep up with it, but when you've got over 4,500 mills on a database, adding a picture to each and every one is time consuming, and whether or not that takes up a lot of data, I'm not entirely sure, but I assume it does. So you can search townland. You can also search for somebody's name. So if I wanted to find a Graham, I could just type in something called there, and again, you get quite a lot of results. So the more specific, the better in some cases. But if you're too specific, you mightn't get any results. But if I knew that they were from, Armagh or Fermanagh, you can just kind of see here, because it gives you County Fermanagh So if I go to see all 42 results, so yeah, this brings up a list of all the people called Graham that owned a mill. So there's some in Armagh here, for example. So if I click on this sawmill, and that's zoomed in quite a lot, so sometimes you have to zoom out a wee bit. So this is just outside Laurelvale. So you have the townland, and again a wee description, just like before, just like the rest of them. So if that wasn't the site that you're after, you could just continue on looking around to see which one it is, and I'll click on this other one in Armagh just to show you. So some have a lot of information on it from different sources. So that's from the Bassett's kind of description of County Armagh in 1888. And then you have, the Grahams coming up at a later stage in early 1900s, Portadown Spinning Company at a later stage. So that's really the search function. It's very simple. I'm just kind of highlighting the fact that you can do a lot of things with this. I do get a lot of people asking me about, their townland and who owned it and things like that, but you can find this information yourself. On the website, click on the View Larger map. It will open up this here, and then you can just go in and type in the different townlands that you're after. So, it could be anything at all. I'm just trying to think of something. If that was Muller Rotterdam, there's a windmill there. So then that tells you there's a windmill there. Sometimes gives you a description of it, sometimes doesn't, just because the information is lacking maybe. But it leads you down a rabbit hole in some cases, because there's a lot of connections between families and so forth. And you can build up a bigger picture. And I am obviously very much interested and have a lot of knowledge on it, but I'm not going to know everything about all the mills in, say, Antrim compared to a local historian there. So it's important to kind of use this information and kind of find your own way, kind of niche into it, and build up a bigger picture and record what's left, because that's ultimately what I'm trying to do, is build up a bigger picture of what is left of these places, and what can be preserved in the future. Because like you can see, if we zoom out, all these mills that we have. So I think for Northern Ireland it's about 4,200 so far, and I'm still finding more. And for the Ulster, it's just over 6,000, I think. So it really is fascinating, and it does even tell you, these markers do in some cases tell you a lot about the area. So you can see that West Donegal, corn mills mainly. These blue ones are actually tuck mills for wool. But then you go towards the eastern half, you have these red markers. These are all flax mills. So you can see flax is going on quite a large scale in East Donegal. Which to me, I didn't know. I knew they grew flax, but not quite so much. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them all around the place. So that builds up. You can tell a lot from this, even the pictorial images, of the different markers. You can tell a lot about the economy in mid-1800s, in Ireland, and 1920s as well. So that is really a very brief description of how to use the map on the website, and how useful it can be. So thanks very much for watching, and yeah, keep in tune for maybe another video of me showing you how to actually do this kind of research for the rest of Ireland, because yeah, I'm hoping to do that in the very near future. And it is amazing how quickly you can get all these mills. So it took me for Monaghan, Cavan, Donegal, it took about 6-7 months to get all that information onto the website. But it was fairly on and off of me doing that. But yeah, thanks very much for watching.